First of all, thank you very much to the organizers for the opportunity to present you our work, the work we're doing related to virtual reality and wearable technology in additive manufacturing. And special thanks goes to you all, guys, because I know I'm the only one between your lunch and now, so thank you for bearing with me. Well, just to tell you a bit about our research unit, our unit is a very diverse group of experts in different fields. As you've seen here, there are 4 research professors and then 4 postdoctoral researchers, plus around 10 postgraduate students working with us. And we work in very diverse areas, from control and automation to cyber-physical systems, energy systems, systems design and modeling, biomedical engineering. And this is kind of a disclaimer. My field is signal processing and machine learning as applied to healthcare and medical problems. So I'm kind of the spokesman of this diverse group of researchers who are putting together their expertise to produce tools for different industries, and in particular for the design in the additive manufacturing context. So today I want to talk to you about this work we've been doing. So first of all, I will quickly wrap up or introduce obviously additive manufacturing. You know what you're talking about, maybe you more than I. But I will briefly introduce collaborative virtual reality and wearable technology, and then I will proceed to talk to you or introduce you to the work we're doing in that field. So I don't have to say much about this. We've been listening to different applications, benefits, advantages that additive manufacturing is bringing to different industries, from aerospace to healthcare and dental, to produce rapid prototypes, customization of pieces, light-weighted components. This leads to optimizing the supply chain when we don't need to bring parts from far from in other part of the world. So we know by now what we're speaking about. And again, maybe you more than I. Now, collaborative virtual reality as a concept is a technology that allows multiple users to collaborate, to interact in a virtual environment. Normally these people, or one of the advantages is that these users can be spread all around the world and collaborate in a virtual environment. So that's the point. And there are different potential use cases for collaborative virtual reality. One of them is remote design with additive manufacturing in mind. Design reviews, people can collaborate or participate, interact with a 3D model, 3D design, being in different places around the world. We can also bring this technology to collaborate with the customer to present prototypes early in the design process and have their feedback. And obviously, by bringing one of the ideas or the main tenets of collaborative virtual reality is that cross-functional teams can collaborate, and I will explain a bit more about this in a few minutes. And one of the applications that is also enabled by this technology is training and skills development in a virtual environment in the face of additive manufacturing or any other, actually any other part of the design and development process. Now, speaking about wearable technology, I'm pretty sure that some of you are wearing one of these devices at the moment, maybe not one of those that we're watching on the slide, but possibly a smartwatch or a band, a fitness band. So that's the idea of wearable technology, things we can wear, bring either on our chest, wrist, I don't know, anywhere in our bodies. And in particular, when we're speaking about virtual reality, the type of technologies or devices that we normally use is headsets. Maybe you've used one of those or seen one of those for gaming purposes, but obviously this kind of wearables can also be brought to the design process and prototyping process. VR adapters from those made of cardboard to those maybe a bit more sophisticated, body trackers, hand controllers, gloves, haptic devices, devices that give you this feedback, sensory feedback, sorry. But we could also bring maybe the kind of wearable devices that you might be wearing right now, like heart rate trackers, to measure or kind of monitor the customer reaction to the device or prototype we're presenting them. So that's the kind of technology we're trying to bring to this field. Now, speaking about our work, this is like the basic steps or the initial steps we've been following. So on your left-hand side, what you're watching is one of our students scanning a laboratory in our campus. And he's using an iPhone Pro, I think it's 14, version 14. So maybe you were not aware, but one of those devices or one of those phones has a LiDAR sensor. And using that LiDAR sensor, they scan the whole room. And then on the right-hand side on top, we see the point cloud, where the visualization using Blender, this software for 3D reconstruction and modeling. And then on the image below, you can see, well, the real life space and then the virtual environment reconstructed from that point cloud scanned with the iPhone device. Another thing we've developed so far is, well, the prototype of a globe that uses inertial sensors to interact with these virtual environments. On top, you can see some of the tests, lab tests that we've run using that globe. And then below, on your left-hand side, you can see how this globe can be used to navigate virtual environments. And on the left side, below, you can see how this interface, human interface, was used to train, well, just for the sake of testing, initial testing, training a couple of students on the use of a drilling machine on a virtual environment. But they were then taken to the real life lab, and they were asked to replicate the process, and apparently it was easier for them to make that change or from virtual to physical or real life. So that's one of the other things that this kind of technology may allow us to use. There, in that slide, there's a video, if you please. There should be, I'm sure. Oh, you need to install something. Well, that's the main part of it. Anyway, I'll try to describe what you were supposed to see on that video. Well, we were showing simply some of the applications that we've been trying to build using these technologies or these initial steps that we've made so far. One of the things that we can do there is allowing different users, oh, by the way, we're using, that's that was important. But we're using this Omniverse platform. Is NVIDIA's computing platform to connect different 3D software remotely. So in that video, we were showing you how users in different places around the world can use different 3D modeling, simulation, visualization tools to interact and, for example, in a training, disassembling or assembling different pieces of our product, of our maybe possibly a 3D printed product, and interact. So one of them could be maybe taking one of the parts of the product, and another one could be holding another piece of it and then putting them together in a collaborative manner. Or maybe one person in Mexico City is designing some part of our product using some software, and another person is in Monterrey or in a company in Monterrey is designing another piece and then putting everything together. So it's a pity I cannot show you that. Can we? Oh, that's me. Anyway, now there are some challenges in using these technologies. Some of them have to do with or are technical requirements, both in terms of hardware and software. Obviously, these tools are very resource-intensive applications. And then running and collaborating and doing the 3D rendering of different pieces from different parts of the world requires very high bandwidth and very stable connectivity to the network. So that's one of those are technical challenges. Also, not everyone is used to using this type of virtual reality technology. Some people experiences, it's called cyber sickness when using this type of tools. So that's also one of the challenges and consideration we need to take into account. Another one is data security and privacy. As people or designers from different companies or research center might be sharing some designs that possibly are still not protected in terms of intellectual property, and that requires securing the connection to make sure that no one that's not allowed to have access to that those data can visualize or access them. Another very big challenge is bringing together different 3D designing, rendering, visualization tools as they might work with different protocols on different operating systems, etc. So that's one of the things that this Omniverse platform from NVIDIA is trying to tackle or address. That's one of the issues they are trying to address. Obviously, cost. We need to find ways to bring these technologies to medium-sized companies, small companies, which might not be able to afford very expensive technology or have very high speed internet in their companies, etc. And then, well, I've spoke about some of these latest issues, accessibility and usability, in terms of how user-friendly these interfaces are. That's why we are exploring the use of more natural human interfaces like globes, but it's still a challenge. And well, some of the trends or the future possibilities for these technologies is integrating, for example, 5G to bring higher speed connections and allow to interchange this large amount of data that virtual reality and collaborative virtual reality requires. Then AI is also a very important topic here, because instead of maybe scanning and reconstructing the entire physical space, real life space, we can just scan the basics, or like the main elements in that space, and then just kind of generating use some other elements that might not be relevant to the case study using AI, for example. And then, well, this is a very interesting topic when we speak about eye tracking and forbidden rendering. That means rendering in 3D only those sections of the model or the virtual environment the user is looking at, instead of rendering everything. What's the idea here? Diminishing or decreasing the number of data or pieces that needs to be rendered in 3D in real time. And that decreases the computational power required to do this. So just to wrap up, we can see that, or we think that both collaborative virtual reality and wearable technology can bring many opportunities to the additive design and manufacturing industry or applications, by providing people with the means to collaborate remotely on designs, on reviews, on interactions with customers, on interactions with maybe technicians that are using the machines or the printers. Obviously, to bring this to real life, in particular in a context of maybe middle-income countries like ours, we need to address some of the challenges, in particular when it comes to technical requirements, and which obviously are related to cost, to a higher cost. And I will simply close with a question for you. That's one of the purposes of our talk, is like kind of trying to instigate you to think, how could you integrate these technologies into your workflow, and how can we help you to get there and really maybe optimize or streamlining some of your processes in designing and manufacturing by using these technologies. So, well, these are just a few references that we've used for this, and I thank you again for this opportunity, and I'm ready for your questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Montesinos. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. You have a question?
A technical question, Luis. When you take these photographs with the iPhone or any camera, how much do you need to reconstruct to create the virtual environment? But it's not automatically, or you have to really rebuild some of the elements of the virtual environment. You know, you show the photograph and then you say, you make the comparison of the two spaces, the physical and the virtual environment, but there is some post-work that you have to do, no? Or not? I mean,
there is some post-processing of the data. What the LiDAR in the iPhone generates is just a cloud of data points, which represent the coordinates of the space. And then the second image shows just the data points, the raw data points. It's a cloud of points. Maybe the harder or hardest and more time-consuming process is then rendering that or transforming that into a 3D reconstruction. That's still kind of manual work. I mean, using obviously software tools, in that case Unity, but it's still a lot of manual work. And if you don't have a very powerful computer, then lots of hours to do the rendering and reconstruction. Yeah.
Another question, sorry. So from what you see on these 2 days of presentations, where do you see will be the best bet we should do in the using of this type of technologies into the mass adding process that we are aiming to do it? You know, because we have X-rays, we have images, we have mathematical modeling, we have you know, a lot of things that, but there should be something that you now think that should be test first.
Yes. Well, we've been speaking with Daikin lately. You know, there was a meeting with them. After that meeting, they show interest in using these technologies mainly for 2 applications. One was collaborative design, like having people in different plants or design centers from the company, one of them in the US, one of them in San Luis Potosí, and then bringing people together in a virtual environment to collaborate in the design and review of designs. That was one of the case studies they were very keen to explore. And the second was training, training people to, let's say, for example, assembling products after maybe 3D printing some of the parts, etc. So I could say those are the 2 main things we're kind of focusing now.
Thank you. We have another question at the back, please, Doctor.
Thanks, Luis. Interesting. Well, one question. I suppose that you used SLAM for the 3D virtual reconstruction, or just the LiDAR information?
We're using, well, the tools we're using is first Blender, just to visualize the cloud of points, then Unity to make the 3D model or reconstruction of the space. Then this idea of using that virtual space to bring together elements from different softwares and put them together, that's based on Omniverse, this NVIDIA's platform. And then, well, the video also showed, well, you couldn't see it, but we're using also Rhino for parametric design.
Okay, because if you have the position where the photo is, you can make this hyper-realistic representation of fusioning the photo and the 3D reconstruction. Is that something that you are working with?
We've considered that. We haven't done yet nothing related to that, but that's a very good, actually that's a very good comment, because that would allow us to come with more realistic environments and products, right, in that virtual environment.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Luis, for your amazing presentation.
If there is time, I think there... Oh, so by the way, that's that's the Robocop. That's one of the developments, technological developments that our unit has worked for a few years now. And that video is only that part of the video is only showing how the users can use this globe to interact with the different parts of the Robocop and maybe learn how to assembling this device or this prototype. Well, then here it's just for prototype design. Maybe we can skip a few seconds there. It's again just showing how to assemble the different parts. And this is very interesting because this Omniverse platform allows to, again, bring together different tools for 3D design. And one of them is using Rhino with some plugins for parametric design. So in that case, just as an example, as a motivating example, the user is changing some parameters, and the software is coming with new designs that comply with those parameters required by the user. And that's it. And one person is making the changes on one side of maybe one computer, and the other one is watching the effect of changing a parameter on the other side of the connection. So that's just a few examples of it. So thank you very much.